Hello, everyone. I'm hoping you are having a fabulous day today. We are going to actually speak about after you play your saxophone, what you need to do for proper care and maintenance for it. So, we are going to start with the instrument together because we've just got done playing. I have a little mute in here we can talk about later. And we are going to remove our neck strap. Then we're going to unscrew and remove the neck. We're going to deal with the body first. So you should have a silk swab. They come in several different colors. There's several different makers. They have a weight at the end. A lot of the instruments will come with a little square felt piece on a string and a weight, or the little felt piece with a little brush thing or foam underneath that the felt will fold over. Those are not very good. The felt just comes off right away, and the brush will scratch the inside of the instrument if the felt isn't completely covering it, which often will happen. So to get this in here, you're just going to drop the weight through the bell. Always go through the biggest end first, so that'll be the bell. And then I'm going to stuff the string in there and part of the swab. And here's the tricky part, because we need to get past this rounded end here. I'm going to move this down just a tinge. Probably can do even a little more. Okay, so this is stuffed in here, and I just very slowly go and wiggle it around, and then it comes out the end. Gently pull, just in case it starts to get snagged in a tone hole, which is where these keys are, the little holes under there. We don't want that to happen. Okay, you can do that a couple times. So the reason that you're going to do this is you've played, you've blown through it, it's wet from condensation, also whatever bacteria might be in your mouth, you're going to clean all of that out. So, and saying that, make sure before you play, you either brush your teeth or rinse your mouth out really good with water and only drink something without sugar. So coffee or plain tea. Okay, so we have this done. The inside is done, and we'll address the outside later. So here, I'm going to take the mouthpiece off and we're going to focus on the neck. Secondly, now you can get a smaller swab that will easily fit through the neck, such as an oboe swab, or you can still use this one. They also have little fuzzy things on a wire that you can push through, but you don't need to buy a bunch of accessories. So I'm just going to drop the weight through here and let it come out. Don't take it all the way through, because you'll feel when it starts to get a little bit tight, and then you can come back, do that a couple times, and then come back out the same way you came in, so it does not get stuck. Okay, so this is done. I'm going to set the swab aside. Now we need to unscrew your ligature, take that off. Take the reed off. You want to always be really careful with the reeds because they're very, very thin at the end, and it's very easy to chip and crack them. And you don't want to do that. You want to make them last as long as they possibly can. So ideally, they don't chip, they don't crack, they wear out from all of your practicing and performing. Okay, so there's that. And then you can do the same thing. Now you can leave the mouthpiece on, take the reed off, and do what I had just mentioned with the neck. They also have mouthpiece cleaners, but those are reserved for during the week. They're a little brush, and you can get some soap and water. Now this will just cleanly go through here. The mouthpiece brush, a little warm soap and water, and scrub through there. I just use an old toothbrush. Works just fine. So like I said, about once a week for that. Okay, now we have a couple pieces of cork. Well, the neck here. And you have a little tube in your case, which is cork grease. It'll look like chapstick. Most of them do anyway. And then you rub this in here really, really well, especially when you first get the instrument, because there hasn't been anything on it. So it's not going to fit on the neck very well. You just rub that in. Make sure you rub it in all of the way, or when you put the mouthpiece on, you'll end up with cork grease in here, and you don't want that. Okay. And then you can wash your hands afterwards. Okay, so when you're done with that, if you're putting some things away here in your case to keep it from getting dusty, or any pets or younger siblings, children getting into something, make it nice and safe in the case. And that will protect from a good bit of things. You drop it down the stairs, it's not going to help too much. It will at least make it repairable. Okay, so the mouthpiece, you have a mouthpiece cover. And then you just stick it over there to protect the mouthpiece so the mouthpiece doesn't chip. And then it'll go in your case. So another thing that a lot of people tend to forget is the outside of the instrument. So time and time again, students will come to their lesson and something isn't working right, and they want me to try it to see what the problem is. And I pick it up and it's all sticky and grungy. So another thing, make sure you wash your hands well before you handle your instrument. It may seem that they're clean, but throughout the day we pick up a lot of residue from things. But still, regardless, you want to wipe down the outside of your instrument and the keys to make sure those are nice and clean. Fingerprints on the brass, if your saxophone is brass plated, silver plated, nickel plated, the fingerprints on there will tarnish, and depending upon the oil in your fingers, it can create a lot of damage, and the finish can actually bubble up. So you want to clean it so it's not sticky, but then also clean it so to preserve the finish. Now over time things will still happen anyway, but so you want to wipe it off really good. The tenons can get a little gunky since it's metal on metal and you're screwing the top on. So you want to get those nice and good so it goes smoothly on and off. And just wipe it down really well. And then the same thing with the saxophone as well. Most people will start with the bell because it doesn't have as many keys. It's the most visible. And just take your time. A little meditative moment at the end of your wonderful practice. Get these pearls really good. And all of these keys. There's a lot to get here. You can get the inside of this tenon as well. Just move your other hand down so you're not putting new fingerprints on what you just wiped off. And you might want a little bigger cloth. This is a microfiber cloth. So if you wear glasses or have worn glasses, even sunglasses, a lot of times will come with them, but they tend to be a little bit smaller than this. You can buy them at an instrument store or online as well. Just looking for microfiber cloths. Okay, so we have that all wiped down. I'm just setting mine back up here, but you would put each piece in the case after you do that. Now we're going to get to reeds. Okay, so as you remember hearing me say, they can get damaged really easily. So you want to be careful putting them on and off the mouthpiece, and make sure that you don't rub. Turn and look at something and the instrument moves and the mouthpiece, which snags the reed across shirt, neck, something like that. Definitely not your neck, because it is super, super thin and you'll get a paper cut from that. So I really advise the little plastic pieces that the reeds come in. It's very difficult to get them in and out of there. And a lot of times that's where a reed can be damaged. So get a reed case that you like well. You can make one as well. So here's one. You just open here, and there's the reeds here. They just slide in from the top here, and I have room for 8 reeds in this one. There happens to just be 2, so you have 4 on this side and 4 on this side. So there's a good bit of space there. And just this one I'm not really fond of, because you still have to be a little careful when you slide them in that you don't catch on one of these pieces. But a lot of them aren't like this. But it is safer than each individual plastic piece. Then I have this one, and I have 2 sides for this too, and it just mushes everything together. So here's 2 here, and the cover fits just right, that when I close it, it just mushes everything down slightly to keep everything in place. So I can take this top little piece out, and then I have all of these reeds underneath there that have not moved at all. So, and you can find little cases to make work for you. And I like this one because it's nice and pretty, shows my personality. So there you go for that. If you are watching this video through Take Lessons, this video will pull up my profile information, and there's an ask a question feature, so you can ask me any questions that you want. Just type that in and I will respond just as soon as I see it. And if it's another platform, you can go through that platform to find me as well with any questions that you may have. Beginning books, I normally use, it's Elementary Method for saxophone by Rubank is the publisher and distributor. So that's a very well-rounded beginning book. And there's several books in that series, and then you would go to other things. So get everything put back up in your case, and then you are set to go, and I hope you enjoy the saxophone. Make sure that once a year that it goes to the shop for annual maintenance, because you may need some pads replaced. The instrument may need it will need a general clean oil and adjust. So the oil dries out or it gets gunky in the rods. So all of these rods have oil in them, so everything functions properly and the keys are allowed to move and all of that good stuff. So they can just check it out. And that's another good reason for swabbing it out. It protects the pads. They're leather, and too much moisture, they'll start to rot and fall apart. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure it's cleaned out and dried out and safe in your case. But not all the time. Make sure you practice. Okay. It's been wonderful talking to you, and if you have any other questions regarding care and maintenance or playing the instrument, just let me know. You're welcome also to sign up for lessons through Take Lessons or whatever platform you're watching this video on, and I would love to help you. Thanks. Bye.